Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and to get you going, you got to hear what Link2's doing this morning. First 30 seconds of this watch.
Hi everyone, Ray here with a quick update. Backed by popular demand, Uphold, the fintech company which has powered more than $4 billion in transactions, who recently obtained their licenses to operate as a crypto wallet provider in the two most advanced regulatory regimes in the world, is available for investing on Link2's platform. But not for long, because it's a limited amount, and this is going to be our last Uphold equity release of the year. Friendly reminder, all companies available on our platform are currently available at the minimum investment of $5,000, and we've extended the discounts from our $10,000 tier price to our $5,000 tier price, so that all of our members can take advantage of the discounts on the table for all of our portfolio companies.
Awesome stuff. I've been taking advantage of this. I've been scooping up PolySign. I already have a bunch of Uphold. Both of these guys, Link2 and Uphold, are one of my sponsors. I buy my XRP on Uphold. I link my Uphold account to my Link2 account. I actually bought some PolySign with some XLM, I believe yesterday. But I love both of these platforms. I use them all the time. Both of those, the top of the description, they're my sponsors, Link2 and Uphold. Click on the link. Tell them DAI sent you. Here we go. Now, something that I think has been missed. Well, first of all, this came out from the hearings yesterday. Congressman Tom Emmer claims that SEC Chairman Gary Gensler knew about the FTX scam. Now, we can't forget this because this has not been covered as much as it should. Bombshell exclusive, we covered it the other day. Biden's SEC Chairman Gary Gensler deleted key details of meetings with George Soros and the person we don't say on this channel and Nancy Pelosi from the public version of his calendar, okay? I have a question here. I always ask the question, what could the U.S. anti-crypto SEC chairman possibly be talking to a man who destroys currencies for a living about? It's all there to see. We need a new day in crypto and in the USA. Look, so I was reminded when I saw this, okay, it reminded me of an article that was written by CoinDesk back when Luna collapsed. They referred to it as a Soros-style attack. And when I saw that wording, I remember doing a video on it and saying, these people know something, okay? That's what my first thought was. Now, so then, and that was Terra's UST, Luna, the whole controversy. Then, remember this is what BitBoy said. He's one of the ones that broke this thing wide open. He says, I understand why you believe this, but it goes back to what caused Luna. SBF Alameda was behind every single crash collapse this year. Even Target was a Solana FTX competitor. Think about it. Hopefully going to deliver hard evidence on this soon. And then this guy says Luna collapsed, caused all of this. But I've heard BitBoy basically say that SBF was behind every collapse this year. Okay, so what you got to now. I had put this out. This is when Gary Gensler was meeting with George Soros. I had put this out back December 2021, a year ago, and I was talking about how he sues Ripple and attacks crypto innovation in the U.S. And this is who he's on the phone with. Now this guy bragged. Well, you don't have to take my word for it. In fact, this clip right here, the sound got deleted from here to here. So I went and dug it back up for you. Watch this. And this is all true. SBF was donating to Ukraine. SBF was meeting with Gary Gensler. Gary Gensler was meeting with Soros. Soros is treated like a visiting head of state in Ukraine. Soros is an expert in offshore financial dealings for the purpose of avoiding the SEC. Don't take my word for it.
When we went with him to Ukraine, he was treated like a visiting head of state and was received by the president. Then he was received by the prime minister and finally the central bank.
20% in cash.
They even allowed him to look at the books and asked him for advice.
I don't feel guilty because I'm engaged in an amoral activity which is not meant to have anything to do with guilt.
Now, I want you to listen to this part and listen very closely right here. because this is who Gary Gensler is having meetings with while he sues Ripple, who was transparent from the time of their founding. This is who he's meeting with.
Part of the reason he is so rich is that the...
Let me say that again. He's meeting with this guy, and he's having planning sessions with SBF.
Soros hedge funds operate offshore in the Netherlands Antilles to avoid scrutiny by the Securities and Exchange Commission. So even while Soros tells Congress and the Treasury that hedge funds must be regulated to stop the global crisis, he's avoiding the rules.
Why is it that Americans can't invest in the quantum fund? It's an offshore fund. Why is that?
Because the fund is not registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission. We are not
licensed to do business in the United States.
That's right.
Because?
Because we are not registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission. Because we find it more convenient to operate without it.
So in some ways it's to escape regulation.
Yeah, that's right.
You've been sitting here talking about the need for regulation.
Yes, and whatever regulations are imposed, we will obey. We will.
Now, did you catch that part? Who else do we know who has been calling for regulation but won't tell you how? Now, let's look at what this guy, what his game really is if you look at it. The game is, I put myself offshore, and then I say the U.S. needs regulation of hedge funds. That way, everybody else is regulated, I'm not, and I make a ton of money. My question is that why FTX was set up? And I mean, look, this all makes sense if you put it together. I am not saying that George Soros is any way involved in this. But here's what I am saying. If I wanted to set up something, if George Soros was one of my idols and I wanted to set up something and do something similar to what he did, you know what I would do? I would recruit somebody like a Sam Bankman-Fried, who had 2 tax attorney parents, to run this thing. And then what I would do is I would consult with someone like George Soros. And if you know what I would do if I was the SEC chairman and I wanted to pretty much control all of this crypto thing, you know what I would do is I would consult with George and I'd say, hey, George, you know what? I would like, how could things be set up so that, that I could have one thing that's running over here and use that there could be problems, and then I could use that to say we need more regulation. I could regulate these, and then this one I can work behind the scenes to do planning sessions with. You know, wouldn't that be a great idea? Listen to the rest of this.
We already conform to everything.
If the beneficiaries of Soros's billions do not understand the intricacies of SEC rules and offshore hedge funds, they do.
He's literally like a consultant to these countries on how to avoid regulations in the U.S. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. And Gary's meeting with him. And then there's this. You know, the first time I saw this organizational chart for FTX, the first thing that popped in my mind was, well, this guy didn't do this by himself. This guy had a lot of people structuring this thing with him behind the scenes. He's playing video games, folks, remember? And we just found out yesterday that his parents were getting paid, right? Wonder why? For what? The man who reinvented the payment system back in 1999 is all set to do it again. And he said, it's going to be great. And I tweeted this to Elon Musk, and this is October 20th, 2022. Will Ripple be the next PayPal? Then there was this. I retweeted this. X.com is what I put. Breaking report. Rumors now swearing that Elon Musk is working on a Twitter payment processing system set to compete with PayPal. Would you dump PayPal if a Twitter paying format became available? I would. But then there's this. Bob Way, who was all involved in the XRP community 2 or 3 years ago and then disappeared, has popped back up to retweet this article. He says, having read the article, I have apprehension about retweeting it. And here's the tweet. One of the biggest stories of our era is institutional capture. How about companies founded with a particular mission come to abandon it and sometimes even explicitly undermine it? This is the era of institutional and regulatory capture, hence the SEC, to correct that. But here's the article. What the hell happened to PayPal? It was created to empower individuals. Today, it's the cornerstone of our emerging social credit system. Almost as if Elon Musk was sent to save the day, folks. We got good on one side and evil on another, from what I can tell. And Bob Way's retweeting this about PayPal, and he was one of the first 10 people at Ripple. And I've said from day one that I've always believed that Ripple had some kind of connection to PayPal. Then Vitalik Buterin tweets this. Now here's the guy. Here's one of the guys who, behind the scenes, tried to create a monopoly for ETHgate. These guys did it. We proved it. We have the receipts. We have the video. We have the timeline. The timeline has never been disputed. These are the facts, and they're not in dispute to this day. And look what he tweets. It's okay to hate the fact that X is a monopoly and desperately wish for more competition to emerge, but at the same time not hate X as a whole, and even believe that X is made up of largely good people. And Elon Musk replies to him with his Sun XA12's badge that says X and does not have the Twitter logo on it. You can't make this stuff up, folks. Here's Tom Emmer. A new day is coming.
We know that Chair Gensler had more meetings with FTX than anyone else in the crypto industry. We understand that what was being negotiated was a framework for digital asset exchange registration and token registration with the SEC that would benefit both parties. It would expand the SEC's jurisdiction in exchange for the SEC's preferential treatment of FTX over other industry participants. We understand there was a lot of activity to move this idea forward, including the circulation of draft short-form disclosures that would enable filers to get tokens listed on this newly formed bespoke exchange. Mr. Ray, I know you're handicapped with the information you currently have obtained, but Chair Gensler refuses to answer our questions or testify before this committee. Will you commit to sharing with this committee any internal documents you come across regarding communication between FTX and Mr. Gensler or others at the SEC?
We'll fully cooperate, with the committee and the regulatory authorities with respect to our investigation.
Again, specifically, I just want copies that this committee will want copies of those communications to the extent they exist.
We can certainly work with your staff to get you what you need.
Thank you.
Uh-oh, Gary. Now, this one, they said that the parents were getting paid. I'm kind of skipping along here. Then John Deaton was on Charles Payne. I don't want to make this video too long. Then this is a clip of Maxine Waters trying to exert her power, and this guy basically says, you have to let me interview the witness, and it was an awkward moment. Then this, I want to show you this. This is the last thing I wanted to show you. This is Eleanor Terrett proving that John Deaton had a ghost ban and a search suggestion ban put on him in social media on Twitter. This is what we're dealing with here, folks. Our country has been corrupted, and it's time to take the trash out. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that we either take the trash out now or our children's future's doomed. Write it down.